Welcome to our third toolkit training. We're getting views on the YouTube channel. We now have a YouTube channel. We will be sending that out and allowing people to see the YouTube. We're already letting people know what the YouTube channel is, and we'll be putting every month on the YouTube channel. And people are viewing them afterwards. So if you're watching this on catch up, thank you for watching it. We'll just say hello, who we are, a little bit of brief. I know that those with us live know who we are, but uh, I'm Simon, and it's great to be here with colleagues Lydia and Mike. I don't know if you want to say anything about yourselves. Mike, Lydia?
Ladies first, Lydia.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Mike. Hello, hi, I'm Lydia, and I thoroughly enjoy working with Simon and Mike and being a coach and consultant. We have a lot of fun, and it's really exciting to be able to share with you today one of our foundational things. I won't jump ahead, but yeah, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, and I'm still Mike. So it is great to be here. And thanks so much for being here. It's great you're with us today.
Fantastic. Well, I think we should get straight on, and if others join us, they will. And I'm going to hand straight over to Mike to introduce things.
Well, as you know, on these films, what we're seeking to do is to really help people to lead well, be the best version of themselves, to be the most healthy they can be, the most influential for good in their leadership. And how can you do that? Well, it starts with self-awareness. And if you were with us in April, you'd know that one of our foundation tools is this: know yourself to lead yourself. And this is important because it's impossible to develop, to push into your strengths, to develop into areas where you need to grow if you don't lack that awareness. So this know yourself to lead yourself is really, really important in terms of building self-awareness. And do look at that video from April if you'd like to. I think Simon might put a link into the chat too today, just so that's easy for you to look at if you'd like to. So how do you know yourself? Well, there's all sorts of ways of doing that, of course, but one of the common ways within the corporate sector is to do a psychometric test of some form or other. And we're going to be looking at 5 voices today, which is the psychometric test that we use. And I'm going to hand over to Lydia to just introduce that for us.
Sure. Thank you, Mike. Yes. So the 5 voices, this is ultimately a self-awareness tool, and it's fundamental to what we use in our coaching and consultancy. Here they are: the nurturer, the creative, the guardian, the connector, and the pioneer. But I want to assure you that we are not trying to put you into a box, because you are a combination of all 5. Everybody is. We're going to take you through the voices this morning and give 2 minutes on each. Usually this is a 2-hour workshop, so forgive us if we don't cover everything and that it feels quite sort of information intense. If you'd like to know more, if you didn't catch things, you can always ask questions and come back to us. So as you can see from these 5 voices, they all have a voice volume. That doesn't mean that all the nurturers go around whispering and all the pioneers go around shouting. It's just about the force with which they bring their opinion. So nurturers are not going to push their opinion on you forcefully. You'll see that some are present orientated and some are future orientated, and they're all champions of different things. And those percentages finally are about the first voice percentage across the population. So I'm going to take you through my 2 first voices, which are nurturer and guardian. And the first one for me is nurturer. So as you know, they're the quietest voice, but nurturers are all about people. And their big thing is relational harmony. They want everybody to get on. That's really, really important to them. I don't know if you've ever not put oil in your car. If you have, you know what happens. It broke. If you haven't, yeah, don't do that. But that's what it's like when you don't have a nurturer on your team, because they oil the wheels of the relationships. They help people get on. They smooth the kind of more abrasive voices and help everybody to get on. They're very much about people and values and defending those, not about profit. I mean, profit's great, but people come first. As you can see, they're 43% of the population, nearly half. Why? Because you need them. That's why, because you need that kind of harmony that they bring. On the downside, though, they are not great at bringing challenge. They're not going to confront you. They're much more likely to sort of hint at things, get a little passive aggressive because they don't want to bring challenge. And sadly, as well, they don't recognize the value that they bring, particularly. They need to be told that and reminded of it. Everyone else sees them as highly skilled professionals, but we do this with CEOs who are nurturers, and they always think someone could do the job better. But actually, they're great. So don't forget to encourage them. That's how you empower them. Let them speak first. So that's the nurturer. My second voice is the guardian. And Guardian is the third loudest, and you will hear the Guardian. And they are very much champions of those due diligence and resources and efficient systems and processes. They have a relentless commitment to ask the difficult questions. They absolutely want to get things done. They'll honour the past as they look towards the future, and they adopt as personal to deliver on time and on budget. And if you've got a guardian who's going to run things for you, you can trust them to get it done. As the deadline looms, blinkers might come on a little bit, and they might kind of go, right, social niceties out of the window, don't have time for that, because they've just got to get it done because they don't want to let the team down. They have a brilliant ability as well to detach decision making from personal sentiments. So when you've got tough decisions to make, a guardian can do that without being particularly upset. That would be really hard for a nurturer. They're risk averse. They want to know it's safe and thought through. And they really value logic and order and systems, repeatable processes. On the downside, their desire for that truth and the right decisions can mean it overrides the feelings of others a little bit. They're more important that you get the job done than necessarily you like them. And so tone and tact can be an issue for guardians. So that's the end of the Guardian. I'm going to hand to Mike now to take us through the creative.
Thanks, Lydia. So yes, I'm a creative pioneer, which of course is the best voice combination. I'm only joking. They're all fantastic, but I'm going to just introduce the creative voice for you. You'll see from the slide there that they're a champion of future ideas, innovation, and organizational integrity. And creatives are useful to have on a team because they're always looking ahead. They're always looking to the future, seeing how they can do things differently. And they often are those people on the team that spot opportunities for organizations. And they also have this uncanny ability to sense danger before it hits the present. They anticipate that. So they're those canaries. No, yeah, canaries in the mine might be an analogy of what they're like. And I was speaking to a CEO of a startup recently that's done really well. He was saying, actually, we've got a couple of creators on our team. They've been so influential in terms of getting us to where we are because of that opportunity spotting, because of that future focus. What to watch out for? All the voices have areas for development, patterns that you need to just be aware of. Creatives actually can struggle to communicate well, and it can take them a while to get clarity in articulating their ideas, what they're feeling, what they're sensing. And I was speaking to another CEO recently who is a creative, and he was saying, I find it really frustrating because I have these ideas and it can take me quite a while to actually really communicate them well and for my team to get it. Incidentally, he was also a poet to express frustration in getting his poetical ideas on paper too. So there's that struggle to communicate. They can be quite perfectionistic, which can be hard for them. It can be hard for people around them, but actually they're most hard on themselves. So it's worth just being aware of that with creatives on your team. It's also worth noticing that they're the second quietest voice on the team. So you have to encourage their ideas and to bring them out, pull them out, and get them to share. And actually, to empower them, it can be really, really good to ask good questions, be patient when they might sound a bit strange as they start. And it's a bit like panning for gold. You'll start with a bit of grit and mud, but eventually you'll get to the gold. And if they can articulate that well, it's fantastic. The only final thing to say about creatives is that within the five voice framework, there are two versions of them: creative pioneers, creative connectors. We don't have time today to go into those differences, other than to say that within the Myers-Briggs framework, the creative pioneers are thinkers, the creative connectors are feelers. And that's the creative voice. I'm going to hand over to Simon to take us through the last two voices.
Well, first, I think I should say well done, everyone, for sticking with us. As Lydia said at the start, we are sharing quite a bit of information fast, and we normally do this over a couple of hours. But my voice order, I'm a pioneer connector, and my first two voices. Pioneer is my foundational voice, connector's my second voice. I'm going to share connector first. Connector is the second loudest voice. You will always hear a connector. They're champions of relational networks, internal collaboration. They're Tiggers in the room. They will bounce into the meeting full of ideas, full of enthusiasm, full of life. They truly believe they're going to change the world, and resistance is futile. They're going to change your life as well. Lovers of life. They're endlessly positive. And they're incredibly persuasive and inspirational communicators. So if a connector truly believes something, well, they're unbelievably good at rallying people towards a cause, incredibly resourceful, and resistance is pretty much futile. They're also brilliant at the whole relational networks. They have huge numbers. In the old days, it would have been a little black book, but their phones are full of names, of connections, of people who they can leverage in situations. So when you say, "Oh, I need someone to do this," they will know someone. They will find someone. And they're very good at maintaining huge numbers of relationships as well. They have, at least 250 best friends. They're incredible in that respect. And they're all over social media. They love social media. Social media has been such a thing for connectors. But they importantly know how to connect people to their aspirations. Incredibly important commercially, know how to position things, how to communicate about things. They don't like the label of being salespeople, because they're not trying to sell to you. They genuinely believe what they're bringing is going to make your life or make the organization better, and they have a real integrity about that as well. They do love connecting people who can help each other as well, and they love a bit of recognition when they've done that. Problem that they have is, because of their people-pleasing tendencies, they can struggle to bring effective challenge. Because they love people, they don't like bringing challenge. And they also struggle with critical feedback, because they take any critical feedback quite personally. So a growth area is not to take things personally. Final voice, fifth voice, loudest voice, off the scale voice, pioneers. Only 7% of the population, cuddly pioneers. Pioneers have a life, anything is possible attitude. If you want to get a pioneer to do something, tell them it can't be done. That's a red rag to a pioneer bull, because they're all about achieving the unachievable, and they define a lot of their worth through their achievements, through their capacity to get things done, through doing the things that other people think are impossible. They're brilliant at visioning, at scaling a future. They're always thinking, how can we build this? How can we make this better? How can we grow this? And they have a really good ability to think strategically as well, and to see how decisions will impact other decisions, and to move people around into places that work well within the organization. Winning is a massive driver for them. They're incredibly competitive. They hate to lose, and at their best, they can help teams to achieve things that teams don't believe are possible. They can bring the best out of everyone else. But at their worst, team members can feel like they're sort of pawns in the Pioneer master plan, and they can drive people so hard they can lead to burnout. We're tough on pioneers because, well, while pioneers are at their best, they are brilliant. They lead organizations into places organizations wouldn't otherwise have gone. But at their worst, when they're immature or when they're behaving badly, they can do an awful lot of damage to individuals and to organizations. And an immature pioneer can appear very me-focused, quite arrogant. But you know, we do think they are incredibly important. I'm a pioneer. I think a mature pioneer is marvelous. But we do challenge pioneers as well, and they can take the challenge because they want to be better. So what we've done there is covered, and I forgot to go onto the Pioneer slide. Sorry, that was me trying to multitask. There you go. There's the Pioneer slide. How do you empower them? Don't worry, they empower themselves. Just affirm their competence. So pretend you didn't notice that I didn't turn the slide. So that in wow, 15 minutes was the five voices. That's the overview. If you have any questions, you're welcome to put them into the chat, to stay on and ask us them. Mike, Lydia, anything you want to add just about how you've seen the benefit of this for yourself or within organizations, or anything I missed? Because I'm a pioneer, I can take it.
Lydia, ladies first.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Just to say, I use this in all my with all my clients. I do workshops with this all the time, and it's so incredible to see the light bulb moments. People go, "Oh my goodness, that's me. I get it now, and that's that person, and that's why they annoy me." And it's just, there are so many helpful things in terms of understanding who you are, and then who other people are, how teams work. There's so much that can be done with it, and it's just it's a game changer. And I love using it and use it. Yeah, it's just part of my vocabulary now. Mike.
Yeah, I found it to be really helpful personally in terms of just understanding how I'm wired. I also thought I was good at things I'm probably not that good at, so that's been helpful. And I think the other thing I'd just point out is the present future element of the voices, which Lydia's already alluded to at the beginning. That really does explain quite a lot of tension or difference of approach on a team, which can be in practice really, really helpful for people to understand and be aware of.
And finally, I would just say that I used this with my team when I had a team of 10. It was transformational for team relationships, for understanding how each other worked, for seeing some of our negative behaviors as well in the team dynamics. It really did improve our team performance. And I would encourage any team leader to run a Five Voices workshop, or get us in to run a Five Voices workshop for their team, because it really is transformational and very sticky. People easily remember what they are and what each other is through the Five Voices, in a way that some of the other psychometric testing isn't quite as sticky, quite as easy to hold on to. I think we've said everything we need to say. So I'm gonna stop recording, and thank you for joining us. If you're watching or catch up, thank you for watching. Do reach out to us. If you want to stay on and chat live, you're welcome to, but I'm gonna stop the recording now. Thank you for joining us. And we nailed it in 20 minutes. We are true to our word. 20 minutes, toolkit training at 12. Thanks ever so much for joining us live. And okay, thank you, bye.
Thanks.